everyone, Miss Mick is here, and today I'm going to be reading with my friend, the Freshwater Mermaid. I'm going to be reading a kid's book about empathy. Now, this book series I heard about from the Whoopi Goldberg. Her mother was a preschool teacher, and so, and Whoopi Goldberg, as you know, works for Disney and the ABC News Company. And I appreciate her opinion on children's stuff, because I know that she channels in the experience that she has had having a mom that was a preschool teacher in New York City and all of that. So I do appreciate her opinion. So this book is from a kidsbookabout.com. And so they have several. This one we're going to learn about patience, sympathy, fear, empathy, just to name a few. So this one is going to look at empathy. And remember that feelings are not always easy, especially when we're trying to consider other people's feelings. Okay, so let's get started. And then I can't remember if I said the author of this particular book from a kid's book about is Daron K. Roberts. You can see that. Daron K. Roberts is the author's name. Okay, so like I just said, the intro is even adults struggle with empathy. It's a tricky subject. So the author of this book is a lecturer at the University of Texas and teaches courses involving soft skills, because those are ways that we can work with each other and have empathy for one another. So let's take a look. You might be wondering if this book is important. Guess what? It's the most important book ever. Ever. The most important book ever. Sorry about that little cough I got in my throat. No, seriously, ever. Do you hear that, Freshwater Mermaid? Yes, the most important book ever. Okay, so everybody make sure you have your listening ears turned on. Now, you might be asking yourself, if a kid's book about empathy is so important, what is empathy? Let me take you back to the 3rd grade. Okay. In Miss White's class, there were 23 students. A lot of the kids in the class looked like me, kinky hair and dark brown skin. There's those words. Next page. But then in the 4th grade, only one other kid looked like me. And remember, she said looking like her was kinky hair and dark brown skin. Can you guess how I felt? How would it feel if there was only one other person that looked like you? If you said out of place, unsure, and scared, you would be right. Only one other person looked like her. Does my story remind you of an experience that you've had? Has anything like that ever happened to you? I know sometimes it's happened to me. Like, I have been driving in a new neighborhood and I don't really know where I'm going, and I start looking around and I notice that there's not a lot of people that look like me, and so I begin to wonder, like, am I safe here? And then that's just a natural reaction when you're looking around and you're not really seeing any familiar faces. That's how I felt. So you want to think about, how did you feel when you felt like you were the only one that looked like you? thinking about how she felt. That's what empathy is. Empathy is when you stand in someone else's shoes. Not their real shoes. That would be gross. But you try to imagine what that would feel like. How you would feel if that was happening to you. It's when you feel with someone who is experiencing something that's hard, sad, or scary. I know, like, the first day of school is always kind of scary, right? Even if you try to prepare and pick out your outfit and how you're going to wear your hair, right? It's still the first day of school, a new class, maybe some of the other students that you know, maybe not. Empathy means you listen. So you have to turn your listening ears on. So you listen, don't judge, feel with, and ask questions. You might think that sounds a lot like sympathy. Does that sound like sympathy? But the two couldn't be more different. Sympathy is when you feel for someone. Sympathy sounds like, I feel sorry for you. That sucks. I can't believe that happened. That is sympathy. Where empathy, they sound a lot alike too, huh? They have the same word ending. Is when you feel with someone. Empathy sounds like, how did that make you feel? What can I do to help? Do you want to talk about it? So let's pause and take a look at those questions versus sympathy versus having empathy. So if I'm showing sympathy to someone, I say things like, that sucks and I feel sorry for you. I can't believe that happened. Where empathy says, how did that make you feel? What can I do to help? Do you want to talk about it? So sometimes you don't have all the answers, but you're willing to listen to the person and maybe try to come to some solutions together. So we're going to pause here. This is about the middle of the book. And then we will start reading part 2. Okay? Because I think that's a good place to stop. Don't you think so? Yeah. So we're going to pause there, and then we're going to come back to this thing called empathy. It's a lot to think about. Have a good day.